Welcome to an online meeting of RBKC's Licensing Subcommittee, and thank you all for attending. I'm Councillor Janet Evans, and I will be chairing this meeting. It is being heard via Microsoft Teams, and it is also being streamed live. The committee for this hearing comprises Councillor Rossi and Councillor Schmetterling and me. Councillors, can you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, my name is Councillor Marie-Therese Rossi. I represent Redcliffe Ward.
And I'm Dory Schmetterling. I'm in Pembridge Ward, just north of Nottingham Gate, not so far from the Carnival area. Thank
you. We're joined remotely by Fiona Johnson from the Council's licensing team, our legal officer, Lindsay Lemessurier. Also with us, our committee officers, Nima Mahudin, Daniela Healy, and Jerome Treherne, who will be monitoring all of our connections and help with any technical issues we may have. Before we start the hearing for this case, just a few ground rules. Please keep your microphones on mute until you are invited to speak. Please make sure mobile phones are on silent. Do keep your cameras on when not speaking if you wish, unless we run into connection problems. Please note that the Microsoft Teams chat function is not monitored, so please do not use it. In addition, this is a public meeting and the chat would not be seen in the live stream. Now, everyone should have received the procedure for this meeting regarding the use of cameras and how to connect back in if you lose connection. Thank you. The case before us today is to consider objections to a temporary event notice to be held at Flat A, 239 Ladbroke Grove, W10 6HG. I confirm that I have no declaration of interest to make regarding this item. Do the other members have any declarations to make? Councillor Rossi?
No declaration to make.
Councillor Schmetterling?
No declaration.
Good. The quorum for this committee is 2, as there is always the possibility that I may lose connection temporarily during the broadcast. I am nominating Councillor Rossi to be appointed as the substitute chair. Members, please confirm whether this nomination is seconded. Councillor Schmetterling?
Seconded.
Thank you very much indeed. I confirm that Councillor Rossi has been appointed substitute chair. Thank you, colleagues. I now turn over to our legal advisor, Lindsay Lemessurier.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to pick up on the preliminary issue we had at this morning's hearing. In addition to the main pack and the objections in the main pack, the police have this morning submitted further evidence at 8:33 this morning, which is allowed as per Regulation 18 of the hearings regulations. However, the committees of the Licensing Authority's procedure rules request that such documentation is provided 5 working days before the hearing. This has been circulated to the premises user, so I just want to confirm, Mr. Hewitt, have you received the email this morning from Governance with the additional evidence from the police, and have you had a chance to have a look at it yet, Mr. Hewitt? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Yes, I haven't received an email this morning from the police now.
And you had a chance to read it?
No, I said I have not received an email from them. I have not, no.
It wouldn't come from the police, it would have come from Governance. Can Governance confirm? I've noticed it was Mr. Jonathan Hewitt that's the premises user, so I don't know whether it was sent to him instead of you. Can Governance confirm whether it was sent to Mr. Carl Hewitt or Mr. Jonathan Hewitt?
It was sent to the email carl@247smile.uk at 9:52 this morning.
Let me just double check I'll just check my spam if that's okay.
No worries.
Yeah.
Would you like to state the headline of the subject line or a couple of keywords in it to help Mr. Hewitt?
Yeah, I believe I found it. Please find attached the PDF. Is it from Tim Davis?
Yeah, I think there were some links as
Yes.
well to some. Would you like a 5-minute adjournment to have a quick read of them, or 10-minute adjournment to have a quick read of them, or?
Do you mind? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
fine.
Yeah, because you obviously haven't heard. So it's 12:08 now. So would you want
Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes?
5 minutes is fine.
Okay, so if we reconvene back at what, 12:15? Gives you 6.
Fine. Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine. Committee, you
Thank
happy
you.
with that?
Yes?
Yeah. Sure.
Councillor Rossi, are you back?
Yes, I am here. Sorry.
Okay, thank
On
you.
mute.
And Lindsay Masurier, are you finished?
Yes, hand over back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much. For clarity, I'll outline the procedure of the meeting, which, as already mentioned, has been circulated with the papers and are online. First, the licensing officer will give a brief outline of the 10. Ms. Johnson, can you confirm your attendance, please?
Good afternoon, all. Present, Chair.
Thank you. Then I'll ask the premises user. His representative, Carl Hewitt, has been listed on the attendance sheet. Are you speaking on the premises user's behalf?
Yes, and the family, yes, I am.
Okay. Is that your brother or?
My brother, yes.
Yes. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Please, could you confirm your attendance? I know you're here. Okay, then questions may be asked by members of the committee, the legal officer, and the responsible authorities of the premises user. Next, the police, Mr. James Rankin, will present his objection on behalf of the police. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes. He is joined by PC Mark Perry and PC Janelle Caldinez. Please, could you confirm your attendance?
I am here, Chair.
Thank you.
I'm here, Chair.
I'm here,
Good.
Chair.
Thank you. Then questions may be asked by members of the committee, the legal officer, noise and nuisance, and the premises user of the police. Next, noise and nuisance. Mr. Philip Richardson will present his objection. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes. Please, could you confirm your attendance?
Hi, Chair. Yes, I'm here.
Good. Then questions may be asked by members of the committee, the legal officer, the police, and the premises user of noise and nuisance. After this, we will ask our legal advisor, Ms. Lemasurier, to deal with any further questions she may have. Please, could you confirm your attendance?
Present, Chair.
Then finally, we will turn to the governance team to see if any issues have been raised that we need to consider. Okay, there'll be no summing up, and the meeting will be adjourned for 15 minutes for the committee to consider their decision. The meeting will then be reconvened and our determination will be verbally announced. I'm sorry, somebody's ringing here. I would like to remind everyone that the committee has read the papers and they comprise the main pack, so there's no need to repeat their content. Please do draw our attention to certain points and pages, and governance will move the document on the screen for us. Let's get going. Ms. Johnson, can you outline the 10 for us and confirm whether any additional papers have been received?
I will do. Thank you, Chair. We have before us today a temporary event notice which has received an objection from PC Stewart on behalf of the Metropolitan Police and Mr. Philip Richardson on behalf of Environmental Health. Both of these objections are on the grounds of the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. Mr. Jonathan Hewitt has submitted a temporary event notice for Sunday the 24th and Monday the 25th of August 2025 to use the basement flat and front garden of 239 Ladbroke Grove during Notting Hill Carnival for the sale of alcohol for consumption both on and off the premises between midday and 7 o'clock p.m. A copy of the 10 can be found Appendix A. A copy of PC Stewart's objection is attached as Appendix B of today's bundle, whereas Mr. Richardson's objection can be found at Appendix C. Relevant extracts from the Council's Statement of Licensing Policy are attached as Appendix D. The premises are located in St Helens Ward on the west side of Ladbroke Grove at the junction with St Charles Square. A map of the area is attached as Appendix E, and a list of licensed premises within the vicinity is attached as Appendix F. In determining this matter, the committee must have regard to the objection notices received from the Metropolitan Police and environmental health and takes such of the following steps as it considers necessary for the promotion of the licensing objectives. The steps are A, issue a counter notice if it considers it necessary for the promotion of any of the licensing objectives to do so, or B, take no action and allow the notice to have effect. Other than the document that was referred to earlier on at the start of these proceedings, i.e. the email from Mr. Tim Davies, there have been no further additional documentation circulated. That concludes my summary of this morning's or this afternoon's proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, can you put up, before we hear Mr. Hewitt, can you please put up the, we have a diagram from outside his house, I believe.
Photo we need.
Yeah.
Don't think so, do we?
Sorry, Chair, my colleague Nima is just going to have a look and pop it up on the screen.
Okay, thank you.
I can't see it in the. I can't see it in this pack.
Chair, I'm not aware that one was provided in the pack, a photo or a plan.
I
Okay.
don't think we have a photo, but we do have just this map right here.
Okay, if you could blow that up a bit, please.
Yes.
Okay, and the premises is there. It's oops. Ladbroke Road, corner St. Michael's Gardens, is that correct?
St. Charles Square.
St. Charles's Square.
Okay, fine. Okay, very good. Mr. Hewitt, please can you present your submission and please turn your camera on. You have up to 10 minutes to do so.
I'm actually trying to switch my camera on, but I'm having a bit of problems trying to get it back on.
You are
I saw
on.
you just now.
You are on, I see.
Oh, you can see me, yeah?
Now
I
you
can
are.
see you, yes. You were blocked before, but I see you now.
So you can see me on camera now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I did send in a picture to Philip Richardson of the actual premises. I'm not sure why that's not.
I thought I saw
something.
something in the paper,
Yeah.
so that's why
I have sent that over to you guys, a picture of the actual premises.
because it's a basement flat, correct?
It's a basement flat, yes, and I
Yes.
sort of outlined it in red as well, just to show exactly where the bar is positioned.
Chair, can I interject? Will Mr. Richardson be able to share that on the screen, do you think? Or pass it to governance to share? Because it might be helpful.
I will find it now.
Thank you. I know it's not been formally submitted as evidence, but obviously it'd be helpful just so everyone can see what the premises looks like.
I've just sent that to License and Governance now.
Okay, I will show that right now.
Thank you. Thank you, that's really helpful. Okay,
So-
Mr. Yep, please.
As you can see, the red outline, which I've sort of outlined, is actually where the bar is actually where it sits. You can't actually see it from here, but there's like a flat sort of surface which we stand on. As you can see, it's not on the public footpath at all. It's I mean, as I said, we've done this 2 years running. This is be the 3rd year. And yeah, that's exactly how the bar has been each year, basically, off the footpath behind the sort of black railings you can see.
Mhm.
Also, there's like a wooden sort of bar that's built up as well, so you can't actually during Carnival you can't actually see through the railings at all. Everything's sort of blocked away.
Okay,
I don't
do you want,
know if that helps your question earlier, what you was asking.
yes, did you want to make a submission or do you just want to answer what
well,
questions,
yeah,
what
so
you're thinking?
I mean, I've got an updated risk assessment as well. I actually sent that in. I don't know if anyone has received that.
No.
No, maybe.
Who was that sent to?
I sent it to Philip Richardson again.
Yeah, I received it yesterday morning.
Yeah. So that's like an updated and sort of added on risk assessment. Basically, I've already sent one in originally with my TA10's licensing, but I sent another one in yesterday morning.
Was this sent to the police as well, Philip, or forwarded to the police?
I haven't forwarded it to the police. I don't know whether it's been sent to the police.
No,
During-
I didn't. I just sort of sent it to Philip. Sorry.
Okay, is there any reason why it hasn't been submitted as additional evidence prior to the hearing so that all the parties could have the full facts before them? Mr. Richardson, I'm kind of asking as well as Mr. Hewitt.
I mean, on my behalf, I can say this is, I've never had to do this before. This is my first time. So all of this is practically new to me, having, the objection to the license, having a hearing. So I this is all sort of like rushed for me, if that makes any sense. I didn't have a
Right, Mr. Richardson, is there any reason?
My apologies on my behalf anyway.
That's fine. Mr. Richardson, is there any reason why you didn't submit this as additional evidence to all to governance to send to all the parties?
I appear to have received it yesterday, but I've only seen it this literally 45, like just before joining this meeting when I was pulling up my documents. So I've not actually read it myself yet.
Is it a lengthy document? And I'm asking the police here as well
no.
whether it's worthwhile having a 10-15 minute adjournment for everyone to have a look at it rather than adjourn the hearing. Can I have Mr. Rankin's view, please?
Yes, I would welcome sight of the risk assessment, please.
Right, Philip, in that case, sorry, subject to the committee agreeing, can Mr. Richardson send the update? So is that the only additional document for a start that we need to consider? Or is there anything else?
It's just over 2 pages long, so it's not long.
Right, if you could send that to governance, and if governance could immediately to send it to all the parties, myself and the committee, and if the committee are agreeable, sorry, can we have a 15-minute adjournment? Sorry, Philip.
Yes.
I was going to say, do you want me to send it to James directly? I've got his email here.
Well, if you send it to governance, governance will
Okay.
send it to everyone. So it's done through the official routes. So it's 12:30 now. Chair, how long should we give it till 12:45 to receive and
I'm
look.
wondering, yes, in terms of the committee, can it be submitted in our other room? Can you?
yeah, we
send-
will go into the private room and we will consider it. So we will adjourn
Okay.
for 15 minutes.
So it
and then
can
we
be, can governance please send it to that other room,
We'll send it
That's
to our
what I'm saying.
emails. Yeah, send it to our emails.
to our
Yeah.
emails, okay?
Okay, and
Yeah.
then we'll go into the other room.
Yeah,
Okay.
so is everybody happy with that? All the parties happy to do that for 15 minutes so we can have a look at this risk assessment so it forms part of the consideration?
Yes, I'm happy.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy.
Mr. Richardson, thank you. Mr. Richardson, you happy with that?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. Not a problem.
Okay. See you back in here in 15 minutes. We'll adjourn for 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll send that through right now
Thank you.
once I receive it.
Okay, that's been sent over to you now.
I would like our solicitor to please carry on for a bit.
Thank you, Chair. Has everybody had a chance to look at the document? Mr. Rankin, Mr. Richardson?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we can continue. I'll hand back to you, Chair, and you might want to see if Mr. Hewitt's got more to say before you start asking questions of him. Thank you.
Indeed. Yeah, Mr. Hewitt, do you have more of a submission, or would you like us to ask you questions?
No, you can go ahead, ask questions.
Okay, thank you very much for your submissions before, and we've now had a chance to review them. And apologies that they weren't seen before this. Okay, any questions now from the committee of Mr. Hewitt? Councillor Rossi?
Yes, in your first sort of plan, you said that the number of staff was from 8 to 25 people. In the recent thing we've read, it just says that there are 25 people on the premises at any time. So it's a twofold question. Number one, how many staff will you have? Are they all family members? What are their training? And then also, when you say maximum 25 in the premises, does that include the flat itself? Does it include the back garden? Does it include just the front garden? If you could just elaborate.
Sure. So the staff is only family members, basically. And yes, it says 8 to 25 people. What that means is 25 people maximum in the flat itself. That's in the garden, you know, anywhere in the flat, 25 people, up to 25, which is basically family members mainly. What else?
So is that staff or clients or punters?
No, it's family. So we have family members that run the bar. So I don't know, say 2-3 people actually run the bar, which are family members. Now the rest of people in the actual flat is carnival. So we have a lot of family coming over, you know, traveling to the carnival. So when I say 25 people, that's a maximum of 25 people in the flat. That's family members. If you want to, I don't know, if you want to class them as carnival revelers or party goers, I don't know. But to me, they're family. They're, you know, these are family members.
So how many people are you actually selling the alcohol to? Where will they be?
How many people
are you selling the alcohol to?
Well, I mean, carnival is like people that come onto the premises and people that are passing the premises buying alcohol, basically.
So excuse me, I'm a little confused at this because you say there's 25 family members, but they're revelers or if you're having a private party, you don't need a license in the house. So just clarify to us the concept here. Do you I know Carnival very well, so
yeah.
Just explain it, and I understand the family involved and all, and the conviviality, but it's just not clear to us. Are you having people in from the street? You're having a family inside. You have 3 people working. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's a carnival party. I mean, on the TENS license, I've applied for a carnival party to the sale of alcohol on and off the premises. That's what I've applied for. Is that correct?
Can our Fiona, are you here?
I am, Chair.
Yes, can you explain for clarity, is Mr. Hewitt's application accurate for what he wants to do? Because we're a little unclear.
Okay, I think I can clear this up. So for the 10 itself, and I'm just looking at the 10, he's applied for sales of alcohol, both on and off the premises. But I think what Mr. Hewitt's probably done is give a definition of party when it doesn't quite mean party. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hewitt. Is it that you just want to sell alcohol to passers-by?
Yeah, I mean, selling alcohol to passers-by as well as having a carnival party. I mean, it's a combination, basically. No?
Okay. So with the carnival party, will you just be selling alcohol? You're not playing any music or anything?
No, I'm not playing no music, no loud music's never been played. There's no gathering of, loud music being played. No.
Okay. And will you be selling alcohol just to passers-by or members of your family as well? Or
And
the greater
friends,
family?
yes.
And
Well,
friends?
yeah, people who are drinking in the carnival, if that's members of the public, if that's family, that's friends.
Yeah.
It's
So
the sale of
we
alcohol.
can, yeah, thank you. I think we can disregard the word party then and just stick
Okay.
to sales by retail of alcohol, both on and off the premises. I think it's the word party that's confusing everyone.
Okay,
Is that
sorry,
all right,
that's,
Mr.
that's
Hewitt?
that's my mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is that okay,
Can I-
Chair?
Can I ask
Yeah.
one further question? It's the
Yes.
same question. Will you allow members of the public who are purchasing alcohol from you into the flat, or is that reserved for friends and family?
No, of course they're welcome to come into the flat to buy a drink, to leave the flat. It's carnival. It's
And the bar is inside the flat, or is it outside in the basement area?
It's outside in the basement area, but off the footpath where the red drawing, where
Okay.
I've outlined the red drawing. Can I say this as well? Both years that I've applied for this Pens license, I've applied it exactly the same, and we've done it exactly the same for both years. So I'm confused at why things have changed this year in terms of the Tens license. Because it seems like it's changed for some reason.
Well, we're very, very concerned about safety, I have to admit, for the community.
Of course, no, and I clearly understand that. But Janet, safety. Can I just ask you a question? When you say safety, in terms of safety from the bar itself, the family. What
No,
are we talking when you say
I'm
safety?
talking about I'm concerned, to be quite fair, I am concerned that someone could come into your house and have a knife. And then who's going to deal with that? Am I allowed to
Can I
say that? Let me ask my
Can
lawyer
I-
if I'm allowed to say
Sorry,
that.
can I just interject here? I think the police will be explaining why, and so will Mr. Richardson. They will be explaining why they've put in their objection. So you've obviously, presumably, Fiona confirmed this, presumably the last two temporary event notices that you've held over the last 2 years, objections weren't raised, which is why you didn't need to come to a committee, which is why it went through without any to do. But obviously this year there are concerns that have been raised by environmental health and by the police, who are the only two people that can make objections to a temporary event notice. And obviously we're yet to hear their evidence. Obviously we've seen what's in the pack, but obviously they will elaborate and they will be able to answer that question, to be fair. So it's not really, obviously the committee needs to hear everything that everybody has to say before they go away and make a decision. So I think that's where we're at. Do you want to continue with your questions, committee?
Yes. Councillor Rossi, do you have another question, or shall we go on to Councillor Schmetterling?
Go on to Councillor Schmetterling.
Okay. Councillor Schmetterling? You're on mute, Councillor.
Thanks, gosh. Ever since they started these meetings online. Mr. Hewitt, I want to ask you, I'm a bit confused about the address because of also when I looked it up, is it flat A in 239 and you got flats B, C and D, or is it 239A as a separate door?
239A is a totally separate door.
So these premises are 239A?
Yes.
And not flat A at 239?
When you go into the entrance, you've got a flat A, which is the basement flat, and you've got a door in front of you, which is a flat B. That is all there is, A and B.
Because
But in terms of the...
Yeah. So your
Go ahead,
address
sir.
is 239A and not flat A in 239?
It's the same. I understand from Mr. Hewitt, it's
Hang
the
on.
same.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's 239A basement flats. That's the address of 239A basement flats. So I
Okay.
don't understand what you're saying, flat in 239. I'm a bit confused.
Because in the
there.
report, it's two different things. Sorry, I'm for example, I live at 11A. My address is 11A X Street, but there is also an 11, and it's a separate door.
Right,
So
I
that's
see what you
why.
mean.
I'm just, because,
No,
I'm just trying to
so
understand.
239A has its own front door, and which is a basement flat.
Right.
Then you have
Okay, fine.
239B, which is a separate door, has its own flat.
Right. Okay, fine. So that's, thank you very much for clarity. So the address is 239. So by writing a letter without putting basement, it'll arrive. So, but
It will arrive if you didn't put
Yeah.
basement. If you just put 239A Ladbroke Grove, it will go to the basement flat. Yes.
Right. Thank you. So that's clear. So now I come to the point of how people, how passers-by will enter, because I can see. I think I can't see a separate entrance. So they have to go. I don't see where they go through to get to the basement, and how will passers-by know to get to the basement? And yeah, well, that's the first question, I suppose.
I mean, as you can see on the drawing, so what I've outlined.
Yeah, but it's a lower ground floor. It's not. There's no door to the street like that. Because I couldn't see a door. Wait a minute. Where's
No,
that
as I
pavement?
explained earlier, you can't
Yeah.
see it, but there's a flat surface where you can stand on. So if where I've outlined, that is where the bar is situated.
So you
So
wind up
it's
at street level.
visible. Sorry.
I see. So you wind up at street level.
Yes, it's visible. Yes.
Okay. So passers-by can see the bar,
Yes.
and if they wish to buy a drink, they can buy a drink. So, what are you having? But what happens? I see. We also mentioned a garden. So there's a back garden. There's not. It's not a big back garden. Are you saying people will be let into the flat and through your flat into the back? See, this is what I find still, despite your answers to Councillor Rossi, I'm still confused, somewhat confused as exactly where things are going to take place. Other than now, you've explained that people passers-by can see the bar area at street level, or will see at least the barman or barwoman. But I still don't see where people will go other than standing on the pavement or moving away.
But normally, sir, they buy a drink and they normally continue in the carnival. If it's
Correct.
my family, my friends, they will buy a drink and they will be, like you said, I've mentioned, there's a garden area in the flat. There's a hallway, so yeah, I don't understand your question exactly, sir, to be honest.
Well, but I think it's related to the fact that, you've got thousands of people passing by, and let's say 100 buy a drink, or 20 buy a drink, or 30 buy a drink. And so you're not letting them in. You're only, if you recognize a face, you'll allow them, you'll invite them in if they wish to come. I've not come across a situation like that before, where it's sort of selective entrance.
It's not selective. It's not selective, sir. It's a carnival. It's carnival. Carnival. The music's playing outside. So if people are outside in the street and they're dancing and they're partying and they want a drink, they can buy a drink and they continue. So in carnival, no one wants to be sat inside a flat in Ladbroke Grove.
You said you are
during
having
carnival.
them inside the flat.
Sorry?
Well, that's another question I'm going to come to. You said you are having people inside the flat or in the back garden, and the only way to the back garden is in the flat.
I said up to 25 people, sir. That's
Yes.
family. I've got a very large family, sir. So the reason why I stated up to 25 people, just in case any licensee or someone went to come in and check the flat and they was to see, family members, I've stated how many people would be in the flat.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. You're only allowing friends and family in if they so wish. I mean, if I come along as a stranger and I don't know, I mean,
I'm not letting any and everyone into the flat to have a party. No, if that's the question you're asking, so no.
Well, basically, yes, that's the question.
Well, no,
Right.
I'm not allowing that, because if I was to allow that, there's no loud music playing. It's
Okay. Maybe if later on in a minute, other committee members might want to.
Well,
See if they
Councillor
understand
Schnetterling, I think you bring up a very good point, and I would like to ask the officers at this junction, is this application correct? Shouldn't he be applying for just selling drinks off the terrace to passers-by? End of story. Isn't it getting a little complicated, including in the application, the house and the garden and all? Are you asking Or would you be happy with just being able to sell off of your terrace and everyone else inside, or who your friends and family, that's a private party? It's just getting a little confusing. You see what I mean?
Chair, can I just interject here? We can't amend
Yes.
the application at this stage. I think Mr. Hewitt has advised that people inside the premises are going to be family and friends mainly, although I don't know whether you might invite the odd passerby in or not. I'm not entirely clear. If you are not selling to people, to family and friends, then there's no licensable activity. But if you are selling to people who are staying inside your place and drinking, then it is a licensable activity for on sales. So I think we're clear that you're going to be selling to passers-by from your bar, which is kind of almost at street level, and that's an off sale. I think we're clear about that.
Right.
But I think the committee are just trying to work out, in relation to people inside the premises drinking, will they be buying the alcohol, or will it be supply free to them?
I clearly said that.
Yeah.
In my, just not so long ago.
So you need on sales and off sales, which is fine, which answers the question. Thank you.
Which is why I applied for the TENS license.
I see.
Yeah, but you see,
Okay.
I was asking you if you allow selected people into the flat, and you said you weren't clear, or you said no. So that's what I'm trying to get at. You see, that's exactly what I was trying to get at. Are you letting?
When you say
friends and family
selective
into-
people, sir, are you asking me if I pick out selected people? Okay, you can come in. Is that what you're
No,
asking
friends
me?
and family. As I said, people you recognise.
Yeah,
Friends
but
and
friends
family.
are family. My family are my family. They're not selective people. These are my family.
But they are
I
selected.
think what they're
selected
trying to
1,000 people.
establish is, are you
Yes, you are
selling to
filtering.
family?
You
Are
you
you selling to
filtering.
family? Yeah.
Yes.
I
You are
think
filtering out the people who you let in. That's it. You can call it selection, filtering. You're not letting everybody in. You're only deciding certain people who happen to be friends and family, or maybe somebody else who passes by. But you're not letting everybody come in. That's my point, and this is what we're trying to establish. You see. And now you're saying you will only let friends and family in, or invite family in to the flat, and you will still sell to them. Is that clear now? I mean, am I being clear? Is that the situation?
When I applied for the tender license, I applied to sell alcohol on and off the premises, sir. Okay, that is what I've applied for. Now, these questions you're throwing at me, it's almost just like we're moving away from the actual TENS license, what I've applied for.
Not really. It's just trying to understand because there's no obvious way into the premises, into your flat. I mean, there's no obvious way in. That's what I'm asking for. That's what I'm asking.
There's a front gate, sir. You can see on the picture. When you say obvious way, there's a front gate. You walk straight in to the basement flat. When you say no obvious way.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Fiona
Sorry.
Johnson
Now I
has
see
her
it.
hand up.
I see it now. Thank you. I see it now.
With
It's not clear. Okay.
It's almost as if I feel like I understand clearly crowd safety, the safety of the public. I clearly understand that. But maybe let's get to what the police have to say about this, because I'm just confused in, the questions thrown at me as if like we are the family, the bar, we are the concern in terms of, crowd safety. Like we pause, I'm just a bit confused, sir.
Could I ask you how you arrived? Because in the maximum number, because in the original notice it says 27, but in somewhere else it mentions 25, and in your revised management plan it also mentions 25. So it doesn't really matter. But how do you arrive at this number anyway, whether it's 25 or 27?
Because I know my family, sir, and
Okay.
I've been brought up in Ladbroke Grove all my life. I've known my family. I know roughly who turns up, who doesn't. So that's why I can sort of state that number.
Okay, thank you.
I could have said
Okay.
50, but
I think
Okay,
I've
now-
asked more questions. I've asked one more question, I think.
No, we'll come back to you. So, because I see that Fiona Johnson has her hand up.
Yes, I do, Chair. And I just wanted to clarify, and maybe this will make things easier for everyone. Governance, the picture that you had up earlier, which shows the actual basement level itself with the red outline, is there any chance we could have that back up again, please?
Oh, I was just going to ask for that. I agree. Let's look where that entrance is.
And then I have a couple of questions to ask, if I can, Chair.
Okay,
I think it's the
please.
front of the steps up to the door.
Here we are.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. So the 10 itself refers to the basement.
Yeah,
So I was under the presumption that people would have to go through the gate and down to the basement to purchase alcohol. And
Which
that's what I
gate?
believe that.
Yeah,
So
I
there
The
is a
one on the
gate, I
right
believe.
side?
Turn left. Is it
Just
left in
to the
front of the
left.
steps?
Yes, that's right.
Ah, it's not clear
Okay.
from that.
So I believe people have to go down to the basement to get drinks, and that's what the tent is for. However, at the outset of this, I believe Mr. Hewitt mentioned that there was some area close to the railings that front onto the pavement,
Yeah.
and that there was a possibility there was going to be a bar there. Is that the case, Mr. Hewitt?
Well, when you go in that gate, let me clarify.
Yeah.
When you go in that gate, just to the left, there's another set of steps that takes you into the basement.
Yeah.
Right.
So as you go into that gate, the bar area is straight ahead of you. As I said, you can't see it from this picture, but there's like a flat surface you can actually stand on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the flat surface is more or less at ground level, not in the basement itself.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. With that in mind, I may need to take further advice on that, because the 10 does refer to the basement. And if the bar is going to be on the ground floor level, I don't think we can actually consider that today,
Well,
unless
could you
that ground
take
floor bar
advice?
is going to be removed.
Because that was my impression that this isn't the right application. So can you please take advice? Because
will do.
it's not clear.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just, sorry, everyone's kind of obviously getting a bit confused here. So you walk through the gate and then you just turn to the left and there's like a little flat area, probably where there was coal bins or something like that, which relate to the basement flat. And then there's
Right.
presumably steps as well, which lead into the basement flat where there's a separate door. I mean, Fiona, by all means, go away and have a look into it. But obviously, I would have thought that flat area forms part of the basement area. I don't know if anybody else got any views, but I thought I'd just give my tuppence halfpenny worth
it
there.
is the basement area, but I feel like everything I'm suggesting or saying, someone's coming with a different angle at me. So, but it is the basement area, and as I said, previous years, I've applied for this license. I had no problems. Your officers have come round each time, every year, checked the license, seen that everything's fine, and carried on. So that's
And presumably the tenant in flat B, because you said there's just flat A and flat B, the tenant in flat B doesn't have use of that flat area. Does it come within flat A?
Flat A. It's nothing to do with tenant.
Okay. I
Okay,
think we can
so
proceed. I don't know if Ms Johnson's got anything else to say, but I think we can proceed on the basis that the shelf behind the gate forms part of the basement area.
okay, Ms. Johnson, let's wait and hear what she has to say.
Sorry, Chair, I'm just seeking advice by phone.
Yes,
so if I could
that's
have a couple
fine.
of minutes, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, Mr. Hewitt, we're not working against you. We're trying to make sure we give you the proper license. And
I
it's not-
understand that. I do understand that, Janet, but it actually feels like to myself that I'm sort of worked against, basically. That's all.
You're not being worked against, believe me. All we care about is a safe carnival. That's all.
And Janet, also, I know this is another police matter and they're going to bring up what they're going to bring up, but I'm just confused that there's no recorded incidents. Nothing has happened outside 239A on any carnival or, any time I've applied for this, like nothing at all.
Well, I
So
think, why don't
you
you ask that question when we get to the police presentation?
Yes, I'm
It's a
looking
valid
forward to
question.
that. I am. I'm looking very forward to that.
Okay.
But what the police might say is that the past is no guarantee for the future.
Let's
what,
wait and let the
sorry, sir?
police say.
That's what I'm saying. They might say, so I'm being very careful about that.
Okay.
Sorry, Chair, I've got an update now, if that's okay. Yeah, on the 10 itself, I don't know if governance, if we could get the 10 up on screen, please.
Yes, I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Is there a particular page that you wanted me to put on for
I think it's
you?
either the first or the second page. Appendix A.
Appendix A.
Okay, so we can see on the first page that there is a reference there to 239A Labbot Grove basement flat. I think it's either further down or on the second page. Yeah, if we can just stop there, where it says, please describe the nature of the premises. It does say on this occasion, nowhere else in the document, but on this occasion, basement flat with garden. So going by that, because the garden has been mentioned, the area indicated does fall within the garden area. So we can consider this 10 for the area Mr. Hewitt has described.
Thank you. And this is the reason why I, earlier to the gentleman, he was saying something about the garden, why have I, said the garden, and how many people using the garden. But this is the reason why I've stated it. It clearly says, please describe the nature of the premises, which is what I've added. The garden, it is a garden flat.
Okay. I think it would make sense to move on from the committee to our legal officers' questions and then the police questions, if the committee is happy with that.
Yep.
Thank you,
Fine by
Chair.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've kind of cleared up most things. So obviously you're going to be having on and off sales inside the flat, and you're going to be selling to passers-by outside the flat. Can you just confirm for me, you probably said it, the back garden, will that be in use too? Or is it just the basement, the front area?
When you say in use, do you mean like, I mean, the back garden door's always open in that flat anyway. So when you say in use, I think I
was just trying to clarify the extent of the area that you'll be using, but obviously you'll be having, will all the drinks be dispensed from that flat platform area, or will there also be kind of sales of alcohol on a separate bit in the flat?
No, the drinks won't be all up in that platform, but it's definitely not. It's in the flat as well.
Okay.
You're not selling from the back garden if that's what you're asking. No,
Thank you.
Because there's no entrance into the back garden. The only entrance to the back garden is through that front entrance, basically.
And the toilet will be is the toilet inside your flat that you'll allow, presumably, as well as family and friends, members of the public who are invited into use.
Toilet. Yeah.
Okay, fine. That's it. That's my only questions. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, I'm just wondering, quickly, Mr. Hewitt, you said that you have the family helping, and I know that's very nice. And very often people have close families at Notting Hill Carnival. But I was just wondering if there's trouble, if someone starts a fight or has a weapon or something, who will handle that?
We have security who has a security card.
Okay.
Basically, within the family, we have first aiders within the family. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the police?
No questions, thank you, Chair.
Okay. Any questions from noise and nuisance?
No questions, Chair.
Now for the police's case. Mr. Rankin, please can you present your submission? Please do turn on your camera, and you have up to 10 minutes to do so.
Thank you very much. Well, by now, Mr. Hewitt will have read the articles in the newspaper, and we don't resolve from the position stated in there. There is real concern over Carnival this year. And Sir Mark Rowley, the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, has grave concerns about the fact that this is a carnival which is not run by experts in event management. And the police don't apologise for using every tool in their toolkit in order to make the carnival a safe carnival. Our overarching considerations are safety and the prevention of crime and disorder. And a huge amount of planning goes into the creation of a safe carnival. Notting Hill Carnival Limited work very closely with the police, and they spend 363 days planning an event which takes place over 2 days. And I'll give you for instance, at the corner of Chesterton Road and St. Lawrence Terrace, which your officer may be able to get up on the screen, is a sound system. And that is one of the many sound systems that Notting Hill Carnival Limited has identified as a source of risk that needs to be addressed. Now, you'll see in blue is the blue dot is Mr. Hewitt's application. And then if you go along St. Michael's Gardens, immediately opposite, turn right into the first junction there. That is the junction of Chesterton Road and St. Lawrence Terrace. Sited there will be a sound system and a bar. Now, Notting Hill Carnival Limited has signed off, covered all of the risks. And that includes an anticipation of a bar being there, which has been granted following a thorough and comprehensive risk assessment compiled by a professional body. Now, I don't wish to be unkind to Mr. Hewitt, but his risk assessment doesn't even begin to touch the sides of the sort of risk that is envisaged for a bar in the site where he plans it. Now, I accept entirely that he's had 2 temporary events notices granted in previous years. That is no guarantee that this year will be a repeat of what happened last year. I cannot indicate any directly attributable crimes that flowed from the citing of the temporary events notice in Ladbroke Grove over the previous 2 years. And it's difficult to do that. Somebody buys a free poured rum from a family member of Mr. Hewitt's. They take it round the corner and something happens there. Yes, it's possible to say that nothing happened immediately outside. But what is of concern to the police is that the free flow of the carnival, as it does flow northwards along Ladbroke Grove, along that blue route, must be unimpeded. And anything which interferes with the procession is to be regarded as a bad thing, not a good thing. There are no front-facing bar facilities in this area. If granted, Mr. Hewitt's site would be the only site that would have a bar front-facing as is proposed. There is also proposed 2 doors down another application for a temporary events notice, and if granted, it would create a very large bar, and that is a matter of concern. And you don't address the police concerns by producing a risk assessment of the quality of Mr. Hewitt's risk assessment. And again, I don't wish to be unkind, but it really just producing this on the day of the hearing for us and indicating that people would be discouraged from congregating and that they'll put up a sign saying that people shouldn't loiter, doesn't address this. These are very real concerns, and this is against a background of offences that are a matter of real concern to the police, and these involve drugs, they involve violence with injury, sexual assaults, public order, drunkenness, thefts, and of course we will all recall that there were 2 murders at the carnival last year. When you've got a bricks and mortar premises, they can control the numbers coming in. They can search people. They have professional staff who've all been trained in the 4 licensing objectives. The friends and relations of Mr. Hewitt are not of the same standard. And it is our unshakable belief that through years of policing, the best way to ensure that the crime, the prevention of crime and disorder objective is addressed is by looking afresh at these temporary events notices, because they don't form part of the overall event management plan agreed between Notting Hill Carnival Limited and the police. And they are numerous. We don't know where they're going to be until the application is made. We don't know who is going to be running them. And we don't know what measures are proposed in order to address risk. So, yes, it's perfectly correct to say that the police will say that just because Mr. Hewitt has had 2 licenses in the past, or temporary events notices, it is no guarantee that something will not happen in the future. It will be recalled by the committee, and Mr. Hewitt should know this, that the licensing objective is the prevention of crime and disorder. In other words, it's forward-looking. And the question that this committee will be asked to consider is, how do we as a committee do our best to ensure that that licensing objective is not compromised? And we would suggest that the answer to that lies in refusing this temporary events notice and other temporary events notices as and when they come. Obviously, each one will be determined on its merits. And remember this, of course, that the principal source of information on crime and disorder for this committee is the police. And where you've got experienced officers who have years of looking after the carnival, who come to the conclusion that the best way of addressing the prevention of crime and disorder objective is to reduce the number of outlets that are available for alcohol. There's an ancillary matter, and that will be raised by Mr. Richardson. We support him in his submission. What Mr. Hewitt requires is a street trading license in order to serve out onto the pavement. And no street trading license will be granted during Carnival. And that leaves this committee in the unenviable position of granting a license, if that's what you choose to do, which will facilitate the commission of a criminal offence. In other words, trading without a street trading licence. So that's another way in which the prevention of crime and disorder licensing objective is engaged. So we support any submissions that Mr. Richardson makes in respect of those. So those are my submissions. Look, please, at your policy documents, 25.4, 25.5, 25.6 and 25.10, all of which, if Mr. Hewitt had applied himself to, should leave him to the unanswerable position that he should understand why his application for a temporary events notice has been rejected. So that's what I was proposing to say. I've got Mark Perry, who can assist me for detail if need be.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee? Councillor Rossi.
No questions from me, thank you.
Councillor Schmetterling.
Yes, thank you. I just want to clarify, to ask again, where did you say this sound system would be? You said, was it corner St Michael's Gardens and St Lawrence Terrace, or was it Chesterton Road, St Lawrence Terrace?
It is Chesterton Road and St Lawrence Terrace.
But I would submit that's not exactly that close.
No,
I mean,
No.
in context of the carnival, and it's not another sound system even, it's just a small bar.
No,
You think that's so close?
It's a sound system. My point, and it was clumsily made.
Can I say something, please?
May I just finish this? I made my point clumsily. What I was suggesting was that the location of the sound system, as it is in Chesterton Road, on the corner of Chesterton Road and St Lawrence Terrace, is a site which has been specifically identified in the Notting Hill Carnival Limited risk assessment. And it was anticipated that there would be a bar there. It is off the main carnival route, which is why, so far as Notting Hill Carnival are concerned, they were able to approve it. That was the point that I was making. Mr. Perry, can you help us on this?
Certainly. I mean, I appreciate for all the members and everyone concerned that this can be a very confusing process, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you have. As far as the police are concerned, the system that we're talking about is classified by us as a sound system. It is playing music and it has a bar attached to it. And as a result, it goes through a slightly different process in regards to being made safe by us in terms of a risk assessment that they have to submit. They work very closely with Notting Hill Carnival. And as James has said, there's an independent company that goes through and checks that risk assessment. I appreciate your point, Councillor, that it's not that close, but close is a relative term. And from a policing viewpoint, we say it is close by, and it's certainly a factor that we have to consider. Because it is there and you have the bar very close by, it is very likely in our thoughts that if that bar becomes very busy, which is very likely, then there will be a spill out onto the street and to the other bars there. And as it is on the main route, as James has said, what we don't want is people stopping. We want people to carry on moving. Anything that takes away from that increases the risk of crime and disorder or public safety taking place.
Okay, because by the way, I just want to mention the fact you mentioned lots of sound systems. I haven't seen the map yet, but they should be up because it's a bit early, but I should think it'd be about around 33 altogether. Is that 33?
Yeah, and can I say something?
Yeah, you'll have a minute. You'll be speaking in a minute, Mr. Hewitt. Just
Okay.
going through. Yeah, I have you on here. Any questions from our legal officer?
Sorry, could I ask this? Sorry, just one more I think it's for the police, or maybe we have to direct it to somebody else, and you Chair can advise. This business, I also have a question back to Mr. Hewitt, but anyway, dispensing from private property, is that actually street trading, or is it you have to put your stand up on the pavement for it to be street trading? Because this is dispensing from private property, if I understood correctly.
That's a good question.
Dispensing private property into the street requires a street trading license, but Mr. Richardson can help on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions from our legal officer?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. Any questions now from Mr. Hewitt of the police?
Yes. So you've mentioned a few things, the police. One of the main things you've mentioned is crime and prevention and crime. It's almost as if like you keep mentioning crime and like it's based around my family and the bar. Again, we've had 2 successful years. There's been not one reported incident around 2398 at all. No stabbing, shall we say? No. I think someone mentioned molesting or something you mentioned earlier, James. Nothing at all. So let's just clarify that, because Carnival is Carnival. You've got over a million people in Carnival. So when you're just focusing on a little bar and you're saying crime prevention and crowd, and it just sounds a bit and as Dory actually brought up as well, it just sounds a bit ridiculous. Also, you mentioned as well this St Lawrence and Chesterton Road, this sound system, and there's a bar there. Again, I said it earlier, family and friends, my bar, we don't have not even a tape recorder playing, no music at all. And I'm sure if there was loud music playing last year, you guys would have came and told me to turn it off because of the congregating of people, you know, around. And for that main reason, no music at all has been played from that bar. So there's never ever been people standing around the bar congregating, you know, crowd build up. That's never been the case. So what you're saying today is it's almost as if like you're, you know, you're guessing or hoping, you know, that's going to be the case, but it's never been the case.
No, forgive me. What we're concerned about is what may happen. We're not guessing.
But but you're saying what may happen, but we're talking about Carnival.
If I can just answer the question.
A lot may happen in Carnival.
I please just have an opportunity to respond? And then you respond, and that way we get all the information out. So the concern that police have is the cumulative effect of all of these temporary events notices. It's impossible to say one bar will cause all of this, but the cumulative impact of a large number of all of these bars does have that impact. And we want to take steps in order to reduce the risk. And we say that having a bar on Ladbroke Grove presents an unacceptable risk of the crime and disorder licensing objective being compromised. That's our position.
Crime, again. What crime, sir? Like, there's no crowds gathering at the bar at all. There's no crowds. There's no crime. So you keep bringing this up.
Well,
it's Carnival.
Technology.
I mean, I can't control, you know, revelers out of the bar on the street. I can't control that. I can only control which is in my risk assessment and, you know, my event plan, management plan. I can only control, you know, in the bar, within the bar.
That's the point. You have no control over somebody that has bought a large rum punch outside your home and then goes off and disappears into the crowd and commits crime.
Sir, that's exactly the same as the bar, which is round the corner at the large sound system where there will be people congregating, drinking, getting drunk, listening to music all day long, sir. And as, you know, the gentleman earlier said, it's nowhere close to the bar, the family bar.
Mr. Perry, I see that your hand is up.
Thank you, James. For some context, councillors and committee, the Carnival area is broken into what's known as 5 sectors, and this bar is in Sector 2. Now, I absolutely agree with the applicant is that we've got no record of any crime taking place at his premises over the last couple of years, but as we know, it's not all crimes are reported to police, especially at Carnival when there's so many people around. But I accept Mr. Hewitt's point that there was no crime linked to his premises last year, and no one is casting aspersions against him or his family. We're certainly not doing that.
No, but you are, sir. It sounds to me today that you guys are.
So if I could finish my point, please, sir. So what we do is we break the Carnival into 5 sectors. Now, Sector 2, where this bar is set, is the sector that has the highest crime of all the other sectors, including more assaults and more assaults with injury than any other sector. Now, this is a busy sector. And and if we are having more bars there, then, as James has said, the risk of crime and disorder, but also public safety in terms of crushing and pinch points increases as well, and that is our primary concern. We're not going on what's happened previously, we're going on the risk of what might happen this year.
What might happen.
Exactly, sir. Thank you. Okay,
Mr. Perry, I can understand you just said what did you say? You stated it just sounds like you're victimizing my family basically and this bar. That's what it's not anyone else. I'm saying the police. That's what I'm saying.
No, but
Mr. Perry, that's what I believe. Because it's a bar that's had no problems, no troubles. And all you keep bringing at me is crimes, prevention, and, you know, large crowd building. And it's almost, it's not happened. So why would you think it's going to happen? What gives you that, what makes you think it may happen? Has something changed? Did you see something last year? I don't know. I'm a bit confused.
I think, sir, the fact is that we have to look at the bigger picture. As we said, we're not taking one bar in isolation. And in regards to, picking on you, we're objecting to a number of tens this year that we allowed previously, because in our opinion, our expert opinion with crowd dynamicists and public order experts, we believe there is a real risk of public safety in terms of crushing, in terms of people being pinched, creating pinch points where people are put at risk of being crushed or trampled on because of the large numbers of crowds and because of the concerns there are about the levels of stewarding and policing this year. It's not to say that your bar would cause problems, but if you have 100 bars operating where they haven't got stewards, they haven't got detailed management plans, that increases the risk of overall of something going wrong. And when something goes wrong in such a crowded area, it can have really severe consequences. We're talking about people being trampled, people being crushed, and crime and disorder taking place. We're not saying that your bar is responsible for that previously. What we're saying is, based on our expert evidence, is the risk of something happening is simply too high. And that's the only reason we're objecting. So it's nothing against you or your family. You are not the only person we're objecting to. There are other tens we're objecting to as well, sir.
Mention as well, that's my point. You said earlier that it's a high number of crime, that area. Is that right? Sector 2, you called that area or something. And
that's
you
correct,
said
sir, yes.
That section there is the highest, did you say, the highest in crime?
Sector 2, sir, has the highest level of crime over to us, yes.
Yeah, so Sector 2, can you just sort of elaborate how big Sector 2 is? Because I mean, to the panel, it seems like maybe Sector 2 is just a couple of roads, just in that vicinity. But I'm guessing it's not.
No,
because
sir.
If we look back at previous years, stabbings, people have been stabbed fatally. It's not in there, sir. It's not in that little St. Lawrence, Chesterton Road, St. Charles Square. If you look back, there's nothing, no incidents has happened around there. So you stating that to the panel, Sector 2 is the highest in crime. That has nothing to do with the bar, sir, please. That has nothing to do with the bar.
I accept, sir, that none of the incidents that were last year were related to your bar at all. And Sector 2, it goes all the way from the Halton Road all the way up to the top there past Bailey Road, I believe it is. Excuse my reading of a
Bailey Road.
Yeah, that it basically goes up there. And you're right, sir. It's spread all along that road, with the majority of incidents taking place either side. But the fact is that it's all along that road, and we can't say just because they happened at the top of that road or the bottom of that road last year, that's where they're going to be this year. People are moving up that carnival route, and so the crimes could take place anywhere along there. And we do know that from the data that that's where those crimes take place. And our job as police officers and as professionals in terms of managing crime and managing risk is to look at all that data and say, based on our expert opinion, we believe there is a real risk of crime and disorder, but more so public safety taking place. And it's our job to present that evidence to the committee and for them to make the decision, just as you've got the right to make your case, sir.
Okay. One other thing I'm going to bring up then. When there is crowd crushing, large crowds, and you guys have to get into that to control it, is that correct?
So it depends on the situation, yeah, but definitely when an incident's taking place, we try to get there as quickly as possible to diffuse.
Try to get there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. Now, there never has been an incident in that area, but if there was an incident, if we compare the two, because Mr. Rankin brought up the St. Lawrence's sound system and bar, corner of St. Lawrence's Terrace and Chesterton Road. If we compare these two, basically, with crowd, you will not be able to get into St. Lawrence's Terrace and Chesterton Road. However number of police there is, if anything happened in that area, you will not be able to get into there. Where we're situated, just around the corner, St. Charles Square, you have St. Charles, where you guys are, it's like like an office where hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of police are there, basically. Opposite, is it St. Michael's, just where the church is, right opposite the bar. You have officers there throughout the carnival, because that's where your station, you guys are stationed. Up to 10, 15, 20 officers throughout the carnival. It was there last year, it was there the year before, it's always had been. So again, you keep going on about crime, crowd prevention, but you guys are actually, where we are based, you guys are based there as well.
I take your
And
point,
that
sir,
is
but
why there has probably never been any problem at all.
can I answer your question, sir? It's a very good point, but there are tens of thousands of people going up that road when the carnival's in full flow. And it's very easy, as does happen, for an incident to take place where all those officers are taken away to deal with an incident. Could be a violent crime, could be a crowd crushing, could be a medical incident. Then those officers are gone. Let's say something happens at your bar this year. Maybe this year, the 10 is granted. Something happens at your bar. There's a fight. There's a crushing incident because people are trying to get past. We are then going to have to try and deal with that without those resources there. If your bar isn't there, it reduces the risk of those incidents happening. And because you're on the carnival path where all those people are going past, it increases the risk of those things taking place.
Good point, Mark Perry. I'll say this to you then. If we didn't get the 10's license, Janet, if that did not happen today, my family is still going to travel. They're still going to want to come, stand out on that parade, and have a drink, have a party. Clearly not sell any drinks because if it's not granted, that's something we can't do. But it will still be family members. It will still be family. It'll be exact. So all of what you're saying, sir, crowd, people gathering and that is still possible without a bar.
You're right, sir. It is, but people won't be stopping to buy your rum punch. And
But
on a
sir,
hot
people
carnival
buy
day,
and then they continue. No one stands around. You've not had. I wish you guys had taken pictures. Clearly, this has happened from last year. So I'm just hope you guys have taken pictures or some sort of evidence to put forth in this panel today, because it's nothing. There's no crowds. There's not people buy drinks and they continue. So I don't get what you're saying, Mr. Mark Perry.
sir, I take your point of view, and I appreciate that you see things through your viewpoint and I see things through mine. But having worked the carnival, I know that where you have people selling stuff, whether it's food or alcohol, people will stop to buy it. They will form a queue. People will stop to chat with their friends. Maybe while they're in the queue, they'll go on their mobile phone, which could attract a thief to come along to try and steal it. We do have high numbers of thefts in that area, and the risk increases, sir. We're not saying that you or your bar by themselves is going to cause a massive problem, but it's a cumulative effect and the risk of something happening while people are there. You're on the main carnival route, sir. There are tens of thousands of people going up the road. If you have that and then you have people queuing around outside your bar, it's an uncontrolled queue. From our point of view, that increases the risk of public safety and crime and disorder, and that's why we're objecting.
So you said it's an unsecured queue, but we have that all in measures, sir. I said we have someone who has security badge in our family. We have first aiders in our family. So all of these things will be, basically.
How, sir? Where will they be positioned?
But, I've put this in. The whole family would look at all these things, which is what we've been doing over the years.
So where would the security be positioned? How would they deal with someone who becomes argumentative in a queue? What would they do if someone becomes unwell? How would they manage those things? These are the things that you haven't put down in your risk assessment. So we can't judge you upon them.
I think I have, sir. I think I have.
That'll be for the committee to decide. So my opinion is that you haven't answered to my satisfaction, but the committee can draw their own judgment from that.
And your only satisfaction, sir, can I say this? That you're thinking about the whole of Carnival, what might happen, what may happen.
Yes, sir.
That's what you're saying, sir. That's all of Carnival, sir. It's not just that bar. And that is my point. And that is why I said earlier, I feel like the police are victimizing my family bar, That's what I can understand why you feel that way.
I can understand why you feel that way, sir, but all I can say is that's not the case.
Yeah, I think right now.
It looks like the case.
Okay, I'd like to move this on, please. Does Noise and Nuisance have any questions before you make your submission?
No, I've got no questions.
Okay, can you please start your submission?
Yes, Chair, thank you very much.
Can you turn on your camera, please?
Yes, apologies.
Updated anyway. All right, drive carefully. Bye. Bye.
Sorry, yeah. I'm not going to add too much to what's already been said by Mr. Rankin and Mr. Perry, because I don't want to waste all of our time repeating things that have already been said. But in addition to sort of the lack of detail and lack of clarity within the risk assessment, the same applies to the event management plan that was submitted. I did go back to the applicant on that.
Good job, mate.
a few while ago, and he has sort of supplied an updated risk assessment, which still, in my opinion, isn't sufficient to mitigate the risks. But there's been no additions to the event management plan, which would also detail measures that were mentioned by Mr. Perry just before in relation to security and things like that. I know crime and disorder is not a particular issue for myself, but on public safety grounds, I understand Mr. Hewitt's got a family member who may or may not be SIA registered, but he's also going to be there for the said family party. So is he going to be distracted? Is he going to be doing his job properly? Is he going to be looking elsewhere? People who bring in independent SIA is a different matter. They're there to do a job. Mr. Hewitt's family members there for a party. I've got concerns around that and the management of the queue outside. Again, talking about overcrowding and things like that, one thing that hasn't been mentioned is that's the main route for the floats. I've been there doing my duties at Carnival where I've been pushed into the road by crowds. If there's a float coming past at the same time, public safety again, if someone's going to get run over, I know the floats are moving slowly, but the big heavy lorries, even a slow moving lorry is going to cause some serious injuries to somebody. It would only take in that location 5 or 10 people not in an orderly queue bulking out onto the pavement to cause that sort of problem. Yeah, as I said, I don't think I've got too much more to add to what Mr. Rankin said, because he can say it so much more eloquently than I can. And it's already been said. I would just add as well, yes, it is my understanding that the council do not issue street trading permits, street trading licenses at Carnival, and as I said in my objections to this, it would be needed. So again, not an issue for me, but that would be a crime and disorder issue there as well. Yeah, if a sort of suitable and sufficient risk assessment and a suitable and sufficient event management plan were submitted, I could potentially reassess my position. But as it stands, what the documents we have are, they aren't good enough for us not to object to this 10. I don't think I've got anything else to add.
Can I
Thank
ask
you
you
very
something?
much.
Can I say something, please, Janet?
When it's your turn, First, the committee will ask the questions. Councillor Rossi,
No questions from me.
Councillor Schmetterling,
I've got one. I mean, it's something that's come up again, and especially, after police submission and actually Mr. Richardson's submission, is exactly this business of no street trading licenses. And the police clarified that even if selling from private land onto people who are on the public footway, it is street trading. If that's the case, then the only people I suppose one could sell to, and this is the question, are those who come down into the basement and wherever else they go. You can't sell them to passers-by on the street. So that's a major issue, is it not, Mr. Richardson?
Yes, well, no, as I understand it, if you were to sell within your private property, it wouldn't need a street trading license.
Right.
I'm not by no means an expert on that. I do understand there is within the legislation something about a certain meterage from the highway and things like that. Somebody else may be able to clarify that better than I can. But also, yes, bringing people down into the basement or into the property creates a whole new level of concerns for public safety. And I don't want to put the words in Mr. Rankin's mouth and Mr. Perry's mouth, but if you're inviting people into your private property Carnival, there's obviously crime disorder issues there as well, I presume.
Well, can I
I'll
say
let them
this,
comment
please?
on that.
no, not now. You wait your turn,
Right.
please. You wait your
He
turn.
did say, Mr. Hewitt did say it's family and he would be selling to them. I wasn't 100% sure if he said he's going to, in answer to one of the questions, whether he'd be selling additionally inside the flat or not just in the basement area in front. But the fact is that he will be selling it there. He said, this is what I was trying to get at in the beginning. It's going to be only friends and relatives. But the thing is, if you can't trade on the pavement, can't sell to people passing on the footway, that's a separate issue. But he was going to have people down his flat anyway and the back garden. So that's not a new thing. It's already on the table.
Okay, what I'd like to do with that is our legal officer is supposed to ask the next questions, and I would like her to deal with it. and make
Okay.
directed questions, okay? So let's
Okay.
leave it with her. Counselor, lawyer, counselor in the American sense.
Oh, sorry, you're asking me to intervene. Yes, so street trading licenses are obviously separate from the licensing regime. So you can make your decision today, and obviously street trading is something separate under, I believe, the London Local Authorities Act 1990. And street trading includes, as well as like the normal street, pavement, highway, any other area not being within permanently enclosed premises within 7 metres of any road or footway to which public obtain access without payment. So strictly speaking, if, so I'm just thinking this through out loud, if
Yes.
people are able to gain access to that area without payment and obviously then purchase the alcohol, then strictly speaking, a street trading licence would be required. But obviously, like with pavement licences, that is a different regime and it's not for this committee to decide upon. So that is where I'm at. I don't know if anybody else has got any other comments on that, but it does fall within street trading. But whether I believe the council, I think Fiona can chip in here. I don't believe the council are enforcing street trading this year. Fiona, can you chip in?
Yeah, you're correct, Lindsay. So the council won't be enforcing it, but we will be gathering evidence this year and approaching those residential properties or any other individuals we see trading on the pavement and advising them that they do need a street trading licence
For next year.
for next year. And we will
Okay.
be approaching those this year as well, just
Okay,
advising
thank
them
you.
that they need a licence.
Thank you.
Very good.
I didn't understand that. Sorry, Chair. I didn't understand that. Not enforcing means what? I thought if you can't get a street trading license, you can't trade on the street.
What does
I
that mean in practical terms is what you're asking?
It means no enforcement action will be taken. Is that correct, Fiona?
Yes,
Yeah, that's correct.
so that's what
So
it's
that's
saying.
news. Okay, so
Yes.
if somebody's trades on the street isn't discovered, there's nothing going on.
No, they're saying, if I'm understand it correctly, even if it is discovered, they're not enforcing this year, but they will be informed they have to apply for next year.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
Any
you.
more questions from our legal officer?
I think there was only one question. I think PC Perry was talking about the roads that Sector 2 were. I didn't quite catch it. It's from such and such a road to Bailey Road. I didn't hear the first road. You're on mute.
Sorry, yeah, trying to look at the second screen. It is from Halton Road and Thornton Close, I believe, and then all the way up to the top of Bailey Road.
Halton Road and Thornton Close all the way up to Bailey Road. Thank you. That's what I wanted to ask.
Okay, and now, Mr. Hewitt, it's your turn.
Can someone just explain to me who actually issues these Thames license? Is there anyone on the panel that actually is the person that issues them?
The licensing authority, the licensing department will issue the 10 if a counter notice isn't issued today.
Okay, is that you, Lindsay? So can I ask, what we've been talking about, I'm just confused now on what a Thames license is, because it seems the Thames license, what I've read, is to sell alcohol on and off the property. That's what you apply for, £21 for the 2 days. Yeah. And apparently you're allowed to do up to 30 a year or something. But what we've been arguing today is basically that's not possible. You can't sell alcohol on and off the premises. So what is actually a Thames license? What exactly when people apply for this license, what exactly can you do?
So to give a short history, Thames are light touch, and basically people put in an application like you have, and it can go ahead unless an objection is put in by either environmental health or the police.
I know that, Lindsay. That's not my question. My question is, what is actually a Thames license? What is the purpose of it? Because I've been told today that one, I can't sell alcohol on and off. I need a street trading license. That's what I've been told today.
You won't this year, by all accounts.
I won't this year.
Well, we're not enforcing. You'll be advised. That's my understanding from what Fiona Johnson has just said.
But Mr. Rankin and really clearly stated about street traders license. And
ordinarily you would, yes, but obviously there's been some edict that it's not going to happen this year. But yes,
okay.
going forward you will. I think Fiona just had her hand up. You might want to clarify something, Fiona.
Yeah, I did. It's regarding the sale by retail of alcohol. So for the 10 you've applied for, it's for the sale by retail of alcohol. Even though it says off and on the premises, it's for consumption off or on the premises. So the only way I can describe it is an off license. If you go into your corner shop or supermarket, if you buy alcohol, you won't be able to consume it within the off license. You have to take it away. Whereas you've got a restaurant or another premises where you can sit down and partake in the festivities, so to say, that way you can sit on. But when it does say on and off, it means for consumption on and off the premises. So regardless of whether you have a 10, you would normally need a separate permission, which is known by a street trading permit, to actually sell alcohol outside the premises on the highway. So for this year, we won't be enforcing it, but we will be going around and gathering evidence from everyone and advising them to cease trading. And, you know, and then with a view to getting the information we need to move forward for 2026. So I hope that clarified about 10s and also about street trading permits. As if, for instance, you have a driving license. So you might have a driving license to drive, or you need a driving license to drive a car, but you may go and purchase a car and have insurance, but you shouldn't really still drive until you have a driving insurance. That's the only way I can describe it. Did that make sense, Mr. Hewitt?
Really.
Okay. Mr. Hewitt, you've been very helpful. I would like to know if you had a daughter and she showed up and went downstairs and someone from the street came in and was carrying a weapon, how would you handle that? Just hypothetically, what do you anticipate? Are there people there who could handle a situation like that? Am I allowed to ask that, Lindsay?
I think it's probably a bit of a personal question. Obviously, the police have raised crime and disorder as a licensing objective, so I'd keep your questions generic if I were you. I think the question to ask is how, if there was any issue with security inside your premises, how would security be dealt with inside your premises? And if an issue
I agree
cropped
with that. That's probably better. I just wanted him to see it that we're not against him, we're with him, and we want to know that the place is safe.
Joni, I'm trying to work with you guys as well, but again, yeah, in this panel, it just doesn't seem that way. You know, it just seems like I'm being worked against. And again, Janet, you know, we could say, we could all sit here today and think what's going to happen tomorrow, or guess what's going to happen tomorrow. That's life, isn't it? So the police sitting here today and saying, you know, this is what we think might happen in Carnival. You don't know, you know, in Carnival, there might be no stabbings. And in, you know, in Carnival, there might be 100 stabbings. We just don't know. So for you guys to be sitting here today, the police, saying that, you know, we believe this is going to happen outside, you know, your bar, your family bar, it just sounds ridiculous. It's just total, it sounds ridiculous to me. It does. And it's like I'm trying to fight a battle here that is a decision that's already been made. Because first of all, Mr. James was talking about, what is it, a license? I need a street trader's license. Now it's come about from the professionals that I don't need a street trader's license. You know, like, you need to make up your mind what angle you guys are coming at me. And, you know, if you're...
Don't worry, the committee knows all that. Okay, he's not making the decision today. Okay, we understand what's happened with the street license. So I understand the confusion. So don't worry, we have that point on board. I'm just asking about safety.
Safety, I mean, in terms of safety, Janet, we have a security member in our family, within our family. That's number one. There's no one carrying knives or guns and drugs and stuff. There's none of that. It's a carnival party. There's none. So it's just confusing to hear you ask that question.
No,
you know,
we're
if
not
someone
saying
came in with a knife.
We are not saying it's your guests. We're just saying if someone happened to walk in off the street.
But who's someone that like done it? Who like anyone what just walk in with a knife into like the flat? Like I don't get that. It's doesn't
Well,
happen. That doesn't happen, does it?
Okay, I think we've reached the end of this meeting. The committee now has the information needed, and we will retire to make our decision in private session. We will announce the decision today in 15 minutes. So we will reconvene and announce our verbal decision. The hearing will now close and the meeting will end.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you,
everybody.
committee.
We will
Thank
be
you
back
for your
in what
time.
time?
What
Sorry,
time
Chair,
are we
what-
coming back?
We're coming back at 2:20,
2:20, I think. 2:20.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We ready to go, officers?
Yes, we are. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. The committee has considered objections from the police and Environment Health to a temporary event notice, which has been given by Mr. Carl Hewitt, or submitted by Mr. Jonathan Hewitt, for the sale by retail of alcohol on and off the premises. At the above premises on Sunday, 24 August, and Monday, 25 August 2025, between the hours of noon and 7 p.m., for a maximum number of 27 people at any one time. The committee has considered the committee papers and the submissions made by the parties, both orally and in writing. In reaching its decision, the committee has had regard to the relevant legislation, the Secretary of State's guidance, and the authority's statement of licensing policy. In summary, the committee decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of the case and the prevention of crime and disorder, to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the event. This notice means permission for the licensable activities requested in the 10 has not been approved. The committee decided that allowing the 10 would, in this instance, undermine the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. It did not reach the licensing objectives, and it determined to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act. Two responsible authorities made submissions which led to our decision, and the safety, risk assessment, and managing proposals were unsatisfactory. Not to issue, so because of that, we have reached our decision. A copy of the reasons decision will be provided without undue delay. If you wish to appeal against the decision, such appeal must be made to the Magistrates Court within 21 days from the date of notification of the full decision, but in any event, no later than 5 working days before the start of the proposed temporary event. I thank everyone for their time and their submissions today and their excellent questions and responses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.